Loose Leaves, Peace Amidst Radical Change, written and read by Alicia Fall. Chapter 6, One Voice, Two Shaman. This leaf falls like a piece of petrified wood. My job is to describe, not judge. Stand at zero in this space of allowing. If it hurts, stop everything. Memories in the body release like trapped air bubbles. Trauma splits us in two. The who that was hurt against the who that must protect. Caution, potentially triggering material. I had moved out to Seattle with my new husband. I was attending Bastyr Medical School and being a singer on the side, open mics and church services. We lived at Pepper Tree Apartments in apartment 13. 13. Bad luck. The East Side open mic was my favorite because I used to live nearby the first time I lived in Seattle, and the food court had the most amazing Thai food. That first time I lived in Seattle, getting experience for medical school, an amazing experience for any reason. Biking to work, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. shifts, 7 on, 7 off, night shifts in the ER, and doing music on the side. I was also long distance dating Monty, which morphed into marriage. Now we were back after the Alabama stint that sealed the deal, and I was in that forest-surrounded medical school, still regularly singing. After one of these open mics, an old guy comes up to me. It's not unusual for someone to come up to you after performance. Hey, I liked your song, or hey, I liked your song and I want you to have my babies. And you smile graciously, as all nice women singers do, and say, thank you, and say, no thanks, I'm married. This guy was thick around the middle, a Vietnam vet, and immediately launching into, hi, my name's Jim, not his real name, of course, and I want to work with you. I'm going to help you open up your voice, and I'm a shaman. We should trade services. I don't know why I didn't just roll my eyes and graciously say, my voice is fine, thank you. I was somewhat adventurous as a rule of thumb, or why didn't I just say, I don't believe in shamans? I do actually believe in shamans, that healing work can be done on levels we don't ordinarily experience. But more so, in retrospect, I was resonating with, I can open up your voice. I didn't feel my voice was fine. I felt I was stuck in how I expressed myself, not just in singing, but in so many ways. And I wanted more than anything to be free of that perceived stuckness. I responded with an unconscious, yes, please fix me. Well, when a lion smells a bunny, it pounces. An appointment was set up, some serious mindfuckery was already in motion. We need to be alone, you need to disrobe. All it takes is someone knowing what you want most and giving you the illusion that they can give you that to have complete control over you. So shamanic treatment was conducted in apartment 13. Tobacco smoke up the hoo-ha and other particulars I don't care to revisit. There was a very guarded Reiki session in return for this troubled shaman vet. If I could see that young woman now, I would grab her up with an, oh sweetie, and she would cry all the tears of all the women who have had to be good, believed all the messages around being a good woman, a good lover, a good wife, a good singer, a good whatever, and ignored their own self-preservation in the process. Of course, the particulars of this unwholesome exchange eventually came out. Jim disappeared. I continued on, largely like I was fine. I was not fine. In total shock, I just stopped. My body took on the trauma of sexual abuse. I blamed myself. I could no longer be trusted. I stopped feeling, and for the first time in my life, stopped singing. No open mics, no gigs, no Sunday services, no songs, nothing but the silence of resilience. I had started singing when I was 3, and Tiny Bubbles was recorded in my brother's WKWG studio, his radio station. Thumb-sucking baby, inspired by me, the thumb-sucking 3-year-old, never did work, never did play, just sucked her thumb all day. News stories of great farm drama like broken down equipment and ghost stories recorded in the granary. It's a large metal round building to hold grain, but when empty it makes a great echo. Even a stealth recording of family dinner where they all purposely try to sit on one side of the table and you hear, "Pass the pickles," from the thumb-sucking baby who definitely had her voice. I did talent shows at 12, church services at 14, I recorded a CD in my 20s. Now I had largely set music aside to do naturopathic medicine. Later, downgraded to acupuncture with some massage thrown in, but always this push-pull, one or the other, the real job versus the singing thing. But singing writing was still a part of me like the grass growing in a meadow. Now the meadow was being bulldozed for the next parking lot. Something I wouldn't understand or trust till very much later was that the instinct to use my sexuality to express myself creatively did have a place. Creative and sexual expressions are so very close cousins energetically. They use the same body, physical, primal energy. What I hadn't grown into was that they weren't just there for other people's attention, but for my own well-being, my healing, my enjoyment too. Similar is not the same. They need to be respected differently. One can be a successful career, one can be a successful romantic partnering. Inherent in both is a kind of potential for healing, a sacredness that absolutely requires safe space and free choice. Once we collectively get that, all manner of stupidity, manipulation, not to mention violence around self-expression and sexuality will vanish. Starting as young as I did, the music got mixed up in a tangle of identities, unmet needs, and assumed participation. I latched on to the idea that music only matters if it's heard by millions and you need to make it. Sex is safe in this narrow black and white confines of marriage. I was very much caught up in these agendas. But alas, my parents didn't move to Nashville and I didn't become Taylor Swift. I married, had babies, love and hate my husband in almost equal measure. It'd be a powerful 1% more love. And strive to accept the ups and downs of it all with more grace and compassion every day. Soon we'll shift our cultural focus into using self-expression for collective healing versus personal aggrandizement. That's my aching heart's hope. We human expressions are all from the same energy, God, the universe, whatever you call it, and still entirely different, deserving of unique individual respect, especially for basic bodily autonomy. That means don't kill me, don't kick me out of my home, or steal my livelihood, or mess with my body if you have not received expressed adult consent, male or female. Simple. Back in Seattle, not knowing better, I left myself vulnerable. I got pounced on. What made me vulnerable in the first place? The patriarchal religion? The male culture I grew up in where women were compared to cattle? The violence I experienced at any attempt to assert myself? A traditional marriage? I fell into a trap, manipulated by the desire to open up my voice. Had that trap been there waiting all along? Now the show was shut down. Dark stadium, empty seats, scurrying sounds from the rafters. Shame on you, so-called shaman. Your treatment was abuse, sexual abuse. Is there any woman who has not known something of this kind of abuse? Who hasn't blamed themselves? Primed by the over-aggressive first boyfriend? Just a little more pressure to perform? The bra snapped in high school? The unspoken, if you give me this, I'll give you that? The promises of love, marriage, children. Women are in a man's world with a male god and authority that always has a penis. As a woman trying to trust and honor herself, how do you even know what is what anymore? The medicine you were given to express love to someone, to enjoy your own human body, to potentially bear children, is turned on you to become poison. Where is the basic humane respect for another human body being their own individual body? As I write this, I can hear the guilty, shaming argument from a masculine. You're taking it too seriously. You're not taking it seriously enough. It's my body, connected to the divine feminine, that gives birth, that your life depends on. When it comes to sexual expression, we could put more emphasis on in-the-moment clear communication than some overarching moral ideal. We could better protect women from the insanity of abuse by simply asking what she wants, shutting up, listening. Don't expect an answer right away, though, or an answer that even makes sense all the time. The bunny that's been pounced on is likely to hide under something for a very long time. May have to ask over and over till she trusts her own answer again. May we together end these experiences that leave trauma on every doorstep of our homes. May we suffer less and less. My body's mine now, unapologetically mine. And my voice, when it came back months, years, many therapy sessions later, is mine too. I welcome her with open arms. It's a great comfort to hear her sing. 2019 Black Hills Retreat. Hi, I feel led to introduce myself. My name's Jamal, not his real name. I looked up to hear this Rastafarian kind of accent, a nice sparkly eyes man with an afro and Bob Marley garb to match approached me at the dinner table. We're in that open and friendly atmosphere that retreats engender. Shake hands, start sharing. He's a shaman. He's from Africa and he's recently reclaimed that heritage and culture. I start talking. I find myself talking about singing. I'd been writing and playing from the back porch of the cabins. This was my reason for coming to the gathering, to put energy towards the creative area of my life, and I felt a strong pull to come, so I did. In our pleasant exchange, I remember the struggle earlier in my life. Singing always held distance from the real job. Free to share openly, I remember almost losing my voice, my life passion completely. By some miracle, this soul created space for hell to unleash. This second shaman actually worked shaman magic. I let lifetimes of not worthy wash by. I heard, I see you, I hear you. And I couldn't see through the torrent of tears. I was held in that sacred space of listening. I only heard the soft murmur of 1,000 voices saying, "You're okay, you're enough. You'll never go through that again." Conversation turned communion. Simply listening to another story is the most powerful thing we will ever do. The retreat was also a gathering of indigenous and whites coming together, the meeting of perpetrator, victim, listening to story after story of trauma and holding space, allowing for healing. Standing in a circle, sweeping tobacco over our heads in this space of prayer, not your prayer versus mine, just simple prayer, that these wounds grow smaller and smaller. Whatever is your wound, let it be soothed by your passion. Let it be healed by people and practice. Don't ever give up. This world needs you. All of you. The broken pieces too.